Hello friends, welcome to ELS English Literature Studies with Gaur Harpreet. Today I will discuss literary movements and school of thought. So let's get started with today's topic. First of all, I would like to discuss about Gothicism. A Gothic novel prominently features elements of horror, then supernatural activities, gloom, violence, then it has terror, ghosts, medieval castles and mysteriously slamming doors. All these are the elements of Gothic novel, right? And the term Gothic novel is also applied to novels that lack elements of the traditional Gothic setting, but that create a similar atmosphere of terror or dread. And the best known English work in this field is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein's, right? After that is metaphysical school of poetry. The body of poetry, which was produced by a group of 17th century English writers, is called as the metaphysical poets, and their poetry is known as metaphysical poetry. This group includes John Donne and Andrew Marvell, right? And the physical poets made use of everyday speech, intellectual analysis, and their unique imagery. They aimed to portray the ordinary conflicts and contradictions of life, and their poems often took the form of an argument, right? And many of them emphasize physical and religious love as well as the fleeting nature of life. This is metaphysical poetry, and if you want to know more about metaphysical poetry and metaphysical poets, I will provide link in the description box, or I will mention the video in the I button, somewhere in the I button, so you can also refer to that video, right? And I was talking about metaphysical poetry, or in that context, I would like to quote Marvell's To His Coy Mistress. That is a well-known example of a metaphysical poem, right? Next is Neoclassicism. Neoclassicism, that is also known as Age of Reason. And Neoclassicism, it refers to the revival of attitudes and styles of expression of classical literature. It is generally used to describe a period in European history beginning in the late 17th century and lasting until about 1800. Neoclassicism, it marked a return to order, it marked a return to logic, accuracy and decorum. ये न्यू क्लासिज्म का वी कैन से एलिमेंट्स थे कि उनके जो वर्क था उसमें दे रिटर्न टूवर्ड्स ऑर्डर, और उसमें लॉजिक, एक्यूरेसी, डेकोरम, ये सब होना चाहिए, राइट? न्यू क्लासिकल राइटर्स, दे टिपिकली रेक्टेड अगेंस्ट द इंटेंसिटी एंड enthusiasm of the Renaissance period, and their works that appealed to the intellect using elevated language and classical literary forms such as style and the ode, right? And when we talk about neoclassicist poets, then we have Alexander Pope, Jonathan Swift, then Joseph Addison, John Gray. All these are discussed by me. You can refer to those videos. Link will be provided. Otherwise, you can find it yourself also. Then next point is, firstly I have discussed Gothicism, then metaphysical poets, then Neoclassicism, and now this one is fourth, that is humanism. The new emphasis in the Renaissance on human culture, education and reason, sparked by a revival of interest in classical Greek and Roman literature, culture and language, right? Human nature and the dignity of man were exalted, and emphasis was placed on the present life as a worthy event in itself. And humanist thought is presented in the works of Milton, and then we have Dryden, Alexander Pope, Matthew Arnold, right? These are the main who gave, we can say, who followed this humanism. Next is number 5, that is Imagism, an English and American poetry movement that flourished between 1908 and 1917. And the Imagists, they used precise clearly presented images in their works, right? And they also used common everyday speech, and their aim was on concrete imagery and the creation of new rhythms, right? And we can say the main participant or uh, who included in this imagism that I can remember on at present, that is Ezra Pound, right? Next, we can talk about naturalism, again very important school of thought. A literary movement of the late 19th and early 20th century, and the major theorist Émile Zola, a French novelist, envisioned a type of fiction that would examine human life with the objectivity of scientific inquiry, right? And this school of thought, that is naturalism, they viewed human beings as either the products of biological determinism or the product of socio-economic determinism, right? And they ignored the highest levels of society, और उनका मेन फोकस था सोशल इवल्स की तरफ, पॉवर्टी की तरफ हो गया, एल्कोहलिज्म, प्रोस्टिट्यूशन, इंसैनिटी. दे इग्नोर्ड द highest levels of society, and they focused on these points, right? Naturalism, it influenced authors throughout the world, including Henrik Ibsen and Thomas Hardy, right? Next is Romanticism. Romanticism and romantic poets, a full dedicated video is there on my channel. You can check that also. It will be available in playlist also, right? When we talk about romanticism, this term we can say it has two widely accepted meanings, right? When we talk about history, in historical criticism, it refers to European intellectual and artistic movement of the late 18th and early 19th century that got greater freedom of personal expression, right? And they preferred emotional and imaginative expression to rational analysis. इनका main focus था emotions पे rather than on rational thinking or scientific explanation. They considered the individual to be at the center of all experience, and they placed him at the center of their art. Human beings, उनका मेन पर्पस था, और नोबल ट्रूथ्स, यूनिक फीलिंग्स, एटीट्यूड्स, ये सब उनके वर्क का मेन पार्ट था, राइट? एंड दे वर नॉट एट ऑल बॉदर्ड अबाउट साइंटिफिक एग्जामिनेशन. Romanticism, we can say it is a general term to refer a type of sensibility which was found in all periods of literary history, and it usually we can say it can be considered to be in opposition to the principles of classicism, right? क्लासिकल पोइट्स और रोमांटिक पोइट्स में बहुत ह्यूज डिफरेंस है, और इसी से रिलेटेड वीडियो, मेरी लास्ट वीडियो जो शॉर्ट वीडियोस हैं वो इसी से रिलेटेड है, डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन रोमांटिक पोइट्स एंड क्लासिकल पोइट्स, राइट? यू कैन रेफर टू दैट वीडियो ऑल्सो. उसमें मैंने आई थिंक 5-6 पॉइंट्स आर डिस्कस देयर, राइट? एंड yes, I was talking about romanticism. Romanticism signifies we can say dreamlike figure, right? That is devoted to individualistic expressions, that is devoted to self-analysis than any human reason or any scientific reason, right? And prominent romantic poets in that we have William Wordsworth, John Keats, Lord Byron, right? All these are included in this. Next is modernism, a literary school that lasted roughly from the beginning of the 20th century until the end of World War II, right? It is defined by its rejection of the literary conventions of the 19th century and by its opposition to the conventional morality, taste, traditions and economic values, right? And many writers associated with this concept of modernism are D.H. Lawrence, then W.H. Auden, then O'Neill, Ernest Hemingway. All these are related to modernism. Then we have symbolism, again one more important we can say school of thought, right? Symbolism, a literary movement that originated in late 19th century, in which writers rearranged the world or appearances in order to reveal a more truthful version of reality, right? The symbolists believed that direct statements of feeling were inadequate. Instead, they called for new and striking imaginative images to evoke complexities of meaning and mood. Next, I would like to discuss about new criticism, right? New criticism is again a movement in literary criticism dating from the late 1920s that stressed closed textual analysis in the interpretation of works of literature. And the new critics saw little merit in historical and biographical analysis, and their main motive was to examine the text alone. This predominantly American school was named New Criticism by one of its practitioners, John Ransom, right? And another important new critics include Robert Warren, then Clint Brooks, right? Last literary school or literary movement or school of thought that I'm going to discuss is Marxist criticism based on the doctrines of Karl Marx and their disciples. It teaches a theory of value based on labor and economic determination of all social actions and institutions. Marxist, this particular school of thought, it teaches about the class struggle, about proletariat, the dictatorship of that proletariat, and the ultimate establishment of a classless society. In one sense, we can say Marxism must be revolutionary, and it assumes that independent relative matter and its priority over mind. So friends, this is all about today's topic, and I hope you will like my content. And if you like it, please hit the like button, share and subscribe my channel. And if you are new to my channel, please hit the bell button so that you can get notifications for my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching.